One blood. And with this one blood of all mankind, we as human beings has forgotten that we're human. We're human beings. We have a living soul. We got so much to give and help one another with because it's been given to us to help one another with. And yet, Satan want to kill, steal, and destroy everything that Yahweh has placed in the earth for the good of all mankind. Not some men, not most men, all mankind. Verse 26, and had made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all, not most of the earth, not part of it, all the face of the earth. So you can't take and destroy this person's land when they're only in stewardship. You're destroying Yahweh land. They created it. Who wanted to destroy Yahweh land? Satan. Satan. You better wake up and understand what's drawing near. And it's not your salvation, it's your damnation. Because Satan has entered into these men and he's causing his wrath to take place upon all nations being affected. All people are groaning and moaning, seeing death kill the human race and destroy the earth as a planet for us to inhabit. Yahweh placed us on this planet that is called Earth. He didn't place us on Mars, Venus, all the Greek mythology they call the other planets, star system and stuff. He didn't place us there. He placed us here. With one blood of all men to dwell on the face of the earth, and had determined the time before appointed, before it was appointed, that you're going to have this over here, and you're going to be over here, the Arabs going to be here, the Native Americans going to be here, the Africans going to be here, the Europeans going to be here. You forgetting that this thing was what? Determining the time before appointed where we was going to be at. And we should be there in peace and unity and love one for another, to help one another, not destroy one another. We got to lay aside every weight and sin that so easily beset us, because the lying spirit is causing great grief upon the whole face of the earth. And Yeshua said in the book of John, 8th chapter, verse 44, he told the Pharisee, you of your father the devil, and the work of your father you shall do. For he was a murderer from the beginning, and abide not in the truth, because when he speaketh, there's no truth in him. He speak a lie. We're right here being witness unto these things being fulfilled of the Gentile. And the bounds of the habitation. How far we can go, we're free people. We should be able to pass over from this bound to that bound, to help one another, to love one another, to care for one another. Not destroy one another. Not shooting missiles from here to there and killing one another. The church has not promoted righteousness and truth. They promoted buildings for you to come into and take your money when you leave out, so that they can live off your money, because they are hirelings. They care not for the truth, they care for wages. The book of John, chapter 10, verse 10. A hireling care not for sheep. They care for wages, money. And none of them can speak the same thing. So if they can't speak the thing, they're in confusion. And Yahweh is not the author of confusion, but of peace, which is in all the assembly of the saints. Let's read on here. Verse 27. For they should seek Yahweh, if happily they may feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. They all got a chance to serve him and live in this earth in peace and unity and love. Because we are one blood of one nation. But a house divided against itself cannot stand. And if Satan divide against his kingdom won't stand. You ain't seeing him dividing against one another. He causing us to divide against each other. And he calls us to wrestle against flesh and blood, when we are told we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. So if we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, we should know who we're fighting, and we should know what we have need on to protect us from our enemy. Let's read on. Verse 28. For in him we live. Those people want to live just like anybody else do. They don't know when their death comes, what going to befall them after death. They only been told while they was living, there's a heaven, there's a hell. But no one know what going to befall them when the body is separated from the spirit of the living soul. What going to befall you? It's just imagination that someone has said, and other people have spoken it, and other people have spoken it, until people start believing what these people have spoken. But there's no evidence. So your belief going to be a witness of clouds around about you, what you believe in, and you're going to have to bear fruits of what you believe in. If you think there is a heaven in righteousness, and ain't no sin going to dwell in it, you better lay aside the weight and sin that so easily beset you, because you won't dwell in there with sin. Hebrew 12th chapter verse 1. You're going to have to run this race with patience until the end. Let's read on. For in him we live and move and have our being. And if we have our beings in living and moving in him, we don't want somebody else to come and kill us because of hatred and no peace in them. And if that spirit be in them, it's the spirit of iniquity. It's the spirit of sin and transgression of Yahweh love and law for his planet earth and the people that he put in his earth. Verse 25, verse 26. And have made of one blood all nation of men, for to dwell on all the face of the earth. So, let's go back to Hebrew, to Ephesians. Ephesians, in chapter 6, verse 14. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth. This was Satan hate. When Yeshua upbraided the Pharisees, they wanted to kill him because he told them the truth. And that's why this war is taking place, because people don't have a love for the truth. And that's how you'll know them, by their works. By their works. Now, when Satan entered into a person, he transformed himself in that person, that he's light, speaking the truth, or righteousness, or gonna do good. But once he got that person, and you see the way that person go, then you should know them by their works, their fruit, they're doing. And that means that you got to be ready immediately to know that you got your whole armor on you and it's preparing yourself, because there's going to be a battle coming to try to remove you from the truth. So, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel, the good news of peace. Above all, take the shield of truth. Truth, that's the shield that Satan don't want you to have. If you take the shield of faith, you're down. He gonna get through your armor. Because faith is the substance of things hoped for. 11th chapter Hebrew, and the evidence of things not seen. There was never evidence found in the war with Iraq. There's never evidence found in this war. Israel don't produce evidence or anything they saying. They should produce that you believe them by faith. And when you believe somebody by faith saying something to you, then you become the fool, void of understanding. And that's why the system was set up for truth. Because if you got something without evidence to prove that you have purchased that, then you're guilty of committing a crime, which will be theft. Because you can't prove what you got belonged to you. That's why they give you evidence, purchase of whatever you possess. You purchase it so no one can steal from you and claim that's not yours. Evidence of things not seen. So if you're standing up there with a shield of faith, saying, I got faith, but I don't need evidence or anything I'm saying, just believe what I'm saying, you have lied and deceived that person, because immediately when you put down that shield of faith, everything is gone. That's why these faith teachers came in. When Satan entered into them, they had a doctrine also teaching with evidence of things not seen. If you tell me something, I want evidence of your words being proven that I can trust you. I just met you. You ain't gonna tell me to have faith in you. I'm gonna look for evidence of what you said, and I'm gonna seek it out to prove, is it worthy of me trusting it? Now, Satan told you to take on the shield of faith. Listen to this. Wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. That's his doctrine. How you going to quench his doctrine when he telling you what you need to put up there? Not truth, but faith. If you put faith up there, you ain't finna quench no fiery darts of the wicked, of Satan. Truth is what bruised him. When Yahweh told them in Genesis chapter 3, Adam and Eve and the serpent, when he told them in Genesis about the warfare that was going to take place, he declared unto them, you shall bruise his head, and he shall bruise your heel. The serpent needs to get behind you to bruise your heel. And the only way you bruise him and keep him in front of you, you can bruise his head. In any warfare, songs are being sold. I told Satan to get you behind me. That's his ministry. That's where he's supposed to be. When the scribe said, Yeshua said, get behind me, Satan, for you serve not that which be of man, but that which be, serve not would be of Yahweh, but that which be of man. Why would Yeshua put his enemy behind him? When you go to warfare, you ask any man that been in battle. If the enemy get behind you, he'll choke the life out of you. He'll slay you. You don't know where he at. He's behind you. But if you can keep him in front of him, 9 times out of 10, you will survive, you will escape, or you will slay him. If you keep him in front of you. Why do you want to tell the enemy, get behind you, when Yahweh gave him the authority? The only way he can bruise you is from behind. And the only way you can bruise him is being in front of him. And why would you want to have a shield of faith in front of him and neglect truth, the shield of faith, speaking the word in truth and righteousness? Faith don't speak truth. It don't have no evidence of it. Once again, if you lack these things, you won't be able to stand in this battle that is not with flesh and blood. And in the book of Acts, 17 chapter, verse 25, starting at 24, you seen, and I hope you read it with me, that Yahweh established the earth for all mankind to dwell in it, and made of one blood all nation of man. So when a man take a woman of a different race, of a different inhabitation, being a female, she's still of the human race. He didn't take another male. The woman didn't take another woman. It can be of a different race, a different nationality, but they are of the human race of one blood, to dwell on all the face of the earth. And there was no boundary of how far love will go when it is met in the spirit of unity and peace, and treating one another worthy as human beings. Why do you think marriage today is not surviving? Because they don't know how to treat one another as human beings. Why do you think young people are committing suicide faster than they're living? Because they was not taught the book of Acts, 17 chapter, that Yahweh created. And they have their being and they move because of him. And he will give them what they need because he's not far from them, if they would just seek him. But when you seek sorcery, witchcraft, sex, everything else and stuff, you're seeking the wages of sin, which is death. So first thing Satan gonna want you to do in your mind, that no one loves you, no one cares for you, you're alone, you're no more good, I might as well die, commit suicide. And begin to live. And you have the strength and the power to take your own life when you don't have the strength and power to be loved or share your love with someone else of the human race. Now, to clear this up, back in the book of Hebrew, then I'm going to go back to where I started from, and I'm going to declare unto you what you've been missing as a believer that worship Yahweh in spirit and in truth. Chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witness, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking into Yeshua, the author and finisher of our love. If he put the love in you for your Creator, reconcile you back to your Creator. If he put the love in you for the truth, then you're looking into him, the author and finisher of your love and truth that was placed in you by him. Not by them, by him. But if you ain't got him in you for the love and for the truth, then he haven't begun nothing in you, and it surely cannot end in you. Sin will end in you. You don't have the armor on. You don't lay aside every weight and sin that so easily beset you. Who for the joy that was set before him endures the crucifixion of hanging on a tree as a cursed thing. Cursed is everyone that hangs on a tree. He became a curse for us, hanging on a tree. It was a cursed thing for a man to hang on a tree. And he left his body down there for that day. For everybody to be witness, he's a cursed thing. Despised and ashamed, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Abba, his father. If you don't have Yeshua, and you think you're going to church, and you join a church, you're a member of a church, but you can't look to him, the author and finish of your love and truth, it's because there's no truth in you, and the love is not to be found. That's why you try to love your enemy, because the love of the truth is not in you for the truth, to know that your enemy is the enemy of all righteousness, and Satan has no love for righteousness. And that means he has no love for us as human beings. So he turned us against one another, and we start killing each other in the name of the love that we should be loving one another. And yet we don't see his devices. So when this come about, we don't understand how we got to this place. How did we get to this place? Because we forgot our first love. We don't know how we was created and who image we was created in. We have lost that. And to get it back, you can't get it back going to church. You can't get it back being in a building. You can't get it back if you don't repent and turn and to seek him while he can be found and call him upon him while he's near. Now is given unto you this day to work out your salvation with fear and tremble, to know the message that was delivered unto you today, to know what your enemy has done and is doing in this present tense. Because the just shall live by truth, not by faith. That's his doctrine. And on the way you sin, and if you can't see it yet, this is what Paul said in the book of Corinthians. 1 Corinthians let me see. Second Corinthians, forgive me, I said first, 2 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 13. Now I started verse 12 because I want you to read this. But what I do, that I will do, that I may cut off occasion, opportunity, from them which desire opportunity, to be like us, but are not found like us. That wherein they glory, they may be found even as we are. They're not found like we are. And Paul was telling the Gentiles, through the ministry of bringing them back to Yahweh, being grafted in, that they be found like us, because if they not found like us, then Satan gonna find them this way. This is the way he gonna find you. From such are false apostles, deceitful workers. And if they're false apostles and deceitful workers, that means they don't have no authority, but they got authority. They made themselves an authority through principality and power. They have authority that was given to them to be in high places. And a church is a high place. You have authority over all the people. Just like the government, high places. But there's wickedness going on in these high places. And most of the people can't discern their left hand from their right hand because they don't want to see no fruits. They don't want to talk about nobody's fruit because most of them have not laid aside any weight or sin that so easily beset them. Transforming themselves into the apostles of Yeshua. And no marvels, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Now he don't have to transform himself as an angel of light when he's in the midst of his own disciples in darkness. He transformed himself as an angel of light to get to those that are trying to walk in the light as he's in the light. And there's a reason why he transformed himself as an angel of light. Turn to the book of John, 1 John. 1 John. Chapter 1, 1 John, back by Revelation. This is why Satan transformed himself as an angel of light. 1 John, chapter 1, verse 5. This then is the message which we have heard of him. We heard this of Yeshua. And declare unto you, as I heard it, and he ministered unto me and gave it to me, I have declared it unto you. I said, freely I receive it, and freely I give it. And I give it by crying aloud and spare not, to lift up my voice like a trumpet, and show Yahweh people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sin. And we be the house of Jacob, it's the 12 tribes that it has sent abroad, and now it's being brought back into the fold, with the Gentile being grafted in, and we got to still deal with sin, whether we in the body or out of the body. We got to deal with sin. Because Satan had transformed himself as an angel of light, and if he can do that, he ain't dealing with the one in darkness. He's dealing with those that are supposed to be in the light. And declare unto you that Yahweh is light, and in him is no darkness at all. At all. So, what Paul was trying to tell the Gentiles of Corinth, that Satan can transform himself as an angel of light, the pure like he is of Yahweh, that his ministry is of Yahweh. But you ain't in the light that you can discern the light, because you don't have the whole armor on to understand that you are the light, but you're trying to walk in this world without armor on. If we say that we have fellowship with him, and walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth. Not faith. Do not the truth. You see, faith is of Satan doctrine. It came from demon. Doctrine of demons. That came way before you could even read or write or speak the language that we speak in today, English. Way before then. Doctrine of demons came into the earth to make people believe in a lie of something that can counterfeit itself like it's the truth. Let's read on. Verse 7. But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship one with another. That's why the fellowship is so important. To come in the same thing that these people had in the book of Acts. They came together in one accord. They had all things in common. They had a community that they could serve one another, help one another, and care for one another. And community today People don't want to walk in the light in the community. They walk in deceit, respect a person. They walk in what you can give me. If you want to be a respected person, then you're going to do and give us what you got and stuff. All kinds of rules that are not of the Spirit of Yahweh. But that don't mean that they make the word of Yahweh of none effect. It's a fact right here. Because we walk in the Spirit and we live in the Spirit. We have no respect to person. We live by Yahweh rules, and the rules govern us, that we can live by the rules that anybody come among us can live in joy and peace and love and forgiveness and grow and mature to be complete, perfect in Him, mature in Him. That's what the word perfect means in Hebrew, complete and mature. And Yahweh looking for mature people that worship Him in spirit and in truth. Not lukewarm, not backstabbers, not backbiters, not whisperers, not gospels, not haters or evildoers. But if we walk in the light, as He's in the light, we have fellowship one with another. And the love of Yeshua HaMashiach, His Son, cleanse us from all sin. A hope and hearts, brothers and sisters, I want you to understand. This thing is not about power and might, but by His Spirit, Yahweh. Yahweh is a spirit. And those that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth. That's why Satan transformed himself as an angel of light. Now let's go back in 2 Corinthians, verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers, also be transformed as the minister of righteousness, who in shall be according to their works. Now He'll tell you you don't have to live by works, by faith only. So you won't know Him by His fruit, His work. But Yeshua told you you shall know them by their fruits, by their works. But His doctrine tells you you don't need to live by works, just by faith. That's a damnable doctrine. And it came from the devil, from demons that knew how to transform words into other meaning, and meanings into other words, using the scribes and the Pharisees in the doctrine of putting it before the people. That's why it's doctrine of demons. In the last days, there will be doctrine of demons. And you have entered into it. But Yahweh is making a way for you to escape, that you possess ye your soul in these last and evil days. So I pray that you have ears to hear what the Spirit is saying. I pray that you will allow yourself to see and understand that I come on in the Spirit of Yahweh as I leave going off in the same Spirit that allowed me to come on before you, to declare this ministry unto you freely, that you will be without excuse in the day of judgment, whether your name be found in the Lamb Book of Life or in the book that's going to bring back to remembrance all the things that you have said and done, and what you were saying. You made excuse after excuse after excuse to come into the light and walk with Him as He's in the light. That you'll know your enemy devices, and you'll know that what's going on today is man doing, that Satan has entered into to destroy people at will and the earth at the same time, at will. If you have any question, we leave at the bottom where you can contact us to get in touch with us. I will rejoice hearing that you have something to say about your salvation, something to say about what we're doing, for the elect's sake, for people that want to serve him and worship him in spirit and in truth, be an example before the believers. We have need of one another. I'm not an island to myself. I'm for Yahweh people. They're going to worship him with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength, because it takes strength from the Almighty to worship him in spirit and in truth. You can't do it weak and being feeble. You need help to get that strength in you. You need strength to keep the whole arm on. You need strength of the fellowship and the breaking of bread daily, that somebody's watching over your soul. You need strength to break free from drugs and medication and all the sorcery that you've been living in and living with and putting in you. You need strength from on high. So I pray once again that you'll want to reach out and commune with us. Communicate with us. And ask questions about the salvation of what you hear. Because when night comes, no man going to be able to work. And night is almost upon the face of the earth. It's almost here covering. And Yahweh is only going to protect them that do what he say do and obey him. And that's why we believe in the book of Tehillim, the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 1, 2, and 3. We that dwell in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. We will say of Yahweh, he is our refuge, our fortune, our creator. In him shall we trust. His truth shall be our buckler and shield. We not be afraid by the terror by day, nor for the arrow that flies by night. We won't be afraid, because Yahweh will hide us upon the shadow of his wing. And if you got any other hiding place you try to make refuge, it's not a hiding place. It's a place that you'll die miserable and in anger and in fear of trying to save your flesh and not your soul. So brothers and sisters, have ears to hear what the Spirit is saying. I love you. May Yahweh continue to have his angels have charge over you, lest you dash your feet against a stone. Shalom and shalom.